How are you doing, everybody? This is Jerry here for What's Up Worcester, here with President of NAACP Worcester, Fred Taylor. How you doing today, Fred?
I'm pretty good, and you? Thank you for inviting me to come on your show. I really appreciate coming on, supporting you, a young man, person of color, trying to get his business going and get things moving in the right direction.
Appreciate you. Thank you. And I appreciate you actually taking time for us. I know you're a busy man, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For people who may not know who you are, can you explain a little bit about yourself?
Me, Fred Taylor. I'm a Worcester resident, longtime Worcester resident. A lot of people may not know this, may or may not know this. They may see me wearing Alabama Crimson Tide stuff a lot. The reason I wear that is two reasons. Not only because they're champions, but that's where I'm originally from. I'm originally from Alabama, Tuscaloosa,
Okay.
to be specific. So that's my true home team, my hometown. I'm from Alabama, but as I said, I'm a longtime Worcester resident. I love Worcester. I'm fortunate and blessed enough to have two homes, and I love Worcester. Grew up here, went from elementary school and to as an adult right now to living here in Worcester. I have two children. I'm married, two grandchildren. Longtime Maine South resident, community activist. Business representative of the Carpenters Union. I want to give a shout out. A lot of times, a lot of people have a lot of different feelings about unions. I can say for my union, the Carpenters Union, I personally don't think that I would be here where I am right now if it wasn't for the support and the things that I learned from the Carpenters Union. So I definitely want to give them a big shout out because again, like the public speaking, fighting for equal justice and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff I learned from my employment. So I'm blessed to have do two things right now and be in a leadership position, fighting and advocating for two organizations that are fighting on the same track in a sense.
That's always good to hear, especially shout out to the Carpenters Union. You also mentioned that you were also a leader in another organization.
Oh,
can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Yes. Been a little bit of media buzz lately. I'm the president of the Worcester branch NAACP. I'll tell you about the NAACP. The NAACP is the oldest, boldest, baddest civil rights organization in the United States. Founded in 1909. As you can see, I say that with a smile. I get, excited about it because I am excited about it. Unlike a lot of social justice organizations, we have long history and we have receipts. We have receipts to show like a lot of the work that we've done as an organization. I'm glad to be part of this. This is national, and I'm a local person fighting for a lot of local issues, and I'm proud to be a member of the NAACP, but yeah, not just a member, I'm the president. I'm proud to lead. Yeah.
So that's I'm also proud to be a member as well. So I had to throw that.
Thank you very much. And we're proud to have you. And anyone else who's interested in joining, come on and help us out.
I definitely do. So you said so once you were involved, did you ever think there would be in a leader role position? And how did that happen? How did that come about for you?
I never thought I would be in a leadership role. How did it happen? So back in 2012, one of my brother carpenters who's retired, Manny Gines, he was an organizer. And at the time I was a rank and file member, but I was on the executive board for my union, first Black recording secretary, first Black executive board member in my local, first Black delegate for my local and my union. So some firsts, right? Got elected the same year we had our first Black president.
So that's even better.
But anyway, how I got involved is I went with Manny Gines. They had a membership drive down at the old MLK Center, which is now the Smock building on the corner of Chandler and Park Ave. They had a membership drive, and Manny's like, "Hey, come on, man, why don't you come and sign up for the NAACP, man? $30 well spent to support an organization that needs our help. They're trying to build a new organization. So for me, I'm all into doing things and being supporting a good cause, right? So this was a good cause. So for me, in my mind, I'm thinking I'm gonna go sign up. $30, small thing. You know me, I was younger back then, drinking. I just thinking to myself, hey, when I used to drink, I go out and spend that on a couple of drinks. I might as well support the organization. To be frank, you know what I mean. So I signed up with no intention to be really involved. I didn't get really involved. I was a member. I made sure. So one thing about me, when I'm committed to something, I'm committed to it. So when I joined, I just made sure I paid my dues every year just to stay a member. You know what I mean? That was in 2012. Several years later, I started going to meetings more often. I went to meetings and had monthly meetings. So I slowly started going like once every 4 months, then every 3 months. And then I found myself going there regularly until the president at the time, Pat Yancey, was the president. I want to give her kudos because she welcomed me and told me to get more involved and advocated for me to get more involved. And then I became an executive committee member, member at large. And then an opportunity came, and Pat told me like 3 or 4 years before she left, hey, listen, I'm grooming you. I want you to be president. And I'm just like laughing at her, like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
We're just talking whatever. And I'm like, president, I could never be the president of NAACP. In my mind, I'm thinking like this couldn't happen, And she's like, no, it's not. And then as time got closer, she's like, listen, I'm going to be leaving and I want you to be president. And a few years ago, she left. 4 years ago. Wow, time flies. 4 years ago, she left, but 3 or 4 months before she left, she's like, hey, I'm leaving and I'm not going to be president. I've done all I can do. I need to move on. It's time for me to move on and make way for someone else to be leader. And she wanted me to be leader. Unfortunately, back in 2018, I was transitioning in my work from an organizer in my union to a business representative. There was a lot of work and I was learning a new job. So I couldn't take the job. It was just like too much, it was too much for me to take at the same time. Fortunately, I am blessed. And we were so blessed that we had Ed Robinson step up. And I told Ed, like, I will support him any way I can. If he wanted to be president, I wouldn't mind being his vice president, but I'm not ready to take on the president role. You know what I mean? So thank God Ed Robinson, who was a Caucasian city resident, stepped up. There was no one else there to step up. And I want to give him kudos for stepping up because truthfully, he saved the branch. All the stuff that we're doing right now would not be happening if he didn't do what he did. You know what I mean? Because there wouldn't be a branch because I was serious. I wasn't going to be president at that time and I wasn't going to be. But then when all the George Floyd stuff happened, it kind of propelled me and pushed me into this position. And he straight up said to me, hey, listen, I'm the president, but to be frank, I'm a white man as the president in the middle of this George Floyd stuff. I don't think I should be out there to be the face and the spokesperson for this. I think you should be the spokesperson. So I was passionate about what had happened, like a lot of people in this country. So I took it on. So basically, I became proxy president 7 or 8 months early, because at that time I had become the spokesperson, I mean, for everything that was happening, which was a lot. So it's a little long story, but that's how I landed to where I was. But one thing I can say is I never joined and said, I want to be president. I'm going to be the leader. And I guess there's nothing wrong with it, depending on how you get to the top, right? Because some people do
I agree.
some not respectable things to get to the top, right? I never wanted it. It wasn't something I wanted, but it's something that I care about. And I'm doing the best I can do. And I'm not going to do everything everybody wants me to do, but I'm doing the best I do. And I know I have genuine, it's not a political thing. It's not I just want to be seen thing. It's I want to help thing. You know what I mean? That's me.
You're doing a real good job there too.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you. Also, with that being said, what plans does the NAACP have in store or in the near future? What can we be looking up?
So specific plans. Fortunately for us, we do have some plans, but nothing like, oh, we're going to do this or oh, we're going to do that. We do have an education committee, which is changing. One thing I'll say about social justice and racism and racial justice is it's 24 hours a day and it never sleeps.
Mm.
So in all forms, there's always going to be a battle. There's always going to be a challenge. Again, racism never sleeps. It's 24/7. But we have an education committee that's fighting for some positive things right now. We're getting involved in the paraprofessionals fight in Worcester. A lot of people have heard about that. I just recently learned that it's legal for them to get paid below minimum wage, which is I want to put $1 in the swear job, but I ain't gonna do it.
I have to put $2 in it.
Yeah. So yeah, they're getting paid below minimum wage. That's crazy, and they're working with our children, right? If anyone should be getting paid fair wages, it should be, people who work with people in the medical field, the nurses, the people who support people who are unhealthy, and our children. Those people should be getting paid. They should really be getting taken care of because those are some very important positions. So that's one thing, diversifying the administration in the school system. Very big thing for us to diversify. Cuckoo. It's a very important thing for us to diversify the school system. We need some diverse teachers. We need some men. We need some Black men teachers in these schools.
Yeah, that right.
And I hear people say about like, oh, we don't have any. We try to recruit. We work. We're not working hard enough. And one thing they need to do is get into the middle schools. Everyone's going to speak to seniors and people who are starting to leave school or getting ready to leave school or getting ready to go to college. This is a long-term problem.
Yes.
And it's a long-term solution. So if you can plant that seed early in middle school and have the teachers come in, and it's a little sacrifice because teachers need to be in the schools, but you have people come in and not older teachers. You need to get younger people, right? Because young people don't want to listen to old people, right? Yeah. Young people, it's the truth. When you're younger, you don't want to be listening to this old person because you can't relate to them. And a lot of times, the older people can't relate to the younger people either. You know what I mean? And the younger people can't relate to them. So, but that's one big thing. And then we're fighting for environmental climate justice is a big thing on a national stage for the NAACP. So I'm happy to hear that we have an environmental climate justice committee, which a lot of folks know that the people who are mostly affected by the climate are marginalized communities, which are Black, brown, and low-income white people. So those are two things that we're like really working on. Criminal justice reform is always one that, because we all know that, people of color throughout the judicial system and policing are more likely to be treated unfairly and more likely to be stereotyped, to be pulled over, to be arrested, to be charged higher, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So those are some things that we're working on. That's broad. That's broad because there's so much, and there's so many other fights that are out there. There's so many other challenges, right? There's so many other challenges that we have. But us as an organization, a lot of people don't know this. We're a nonprofit organization. We don't have an office. Worcester Branch does not have an office. A lot of people don't know that. We're organic, right? I don't get paid for what I do. I don't get paid from the NAACP. It's a volunteer position.
Yes.
No one gets paid. No one on the executive committee gets paid. We don't have a paid staff. So to do this work, that's why it's so important. And that's why I think this organization stays around for so long, because everyone who does it is doing it because they want to do it. And that's the difference. That's why we're the oldest, the boldest, the baddest. There's a lot of organizations that do the racial equity work, the racial justice work. There's a lot of organizations that do that work, but there's a paycheck behind that. Right? And I can't say that they don't care about what they do, but they get paid to do that. You know what I mean? That's their job. And for me, I think that makes a lot of difference.
Definitely does. So we recently learned that the city announced that Stephanie Williams, city chief diversity officer, was leaving her position. What were your first thoughts when you heard that?
Oh man, I almost put one in the switch. I almost put one in the switch. Yeah, I was frustrated, aggravated, disappointed, uh, uh, enraged, angry, sad. There's just so many different emotions when I heard that she was leaving. Um, because one, it's so important. I'm passionate about social justice and racial justice. But two, I've had a few conversations with her. I met her. I was part of the process. We had representatives from Black Families Together, which I'm a part of. I'm one of the core members that played a part in lifting up that position and played a part in helping select the person to get that job, right? And I felt and I feel like she was a great candidate, a great person to do that job. Uh, I don't like, I wasn't there 24 hours a day with her to say what she was and what she wasn't doing. But I can say this, that she was out, she was promoting, she was meeting with the other chief diversity officers with her hand out, trying to help and trying to make a difference in our community, to diversify our community. Um, so I was sad to see that she left. She's a professional, well-qualified person. I was sad to see that she left, not personally just because she left, but one of the stinging feelings that I have wasn't just because she is no longer going to be there, but because we've had this position since 2016,
Yeah.
and it's a chief diversity officer. And for me personally, being a person of color and being a person advocating for equality, I'm frustrated that this position, people just keep leaving. There hasn't been one person that stayed in that position for more than 2 years.
Yeah.
And this position was well compensated. So you can say, I'm not going to put up with this, I'm not going to put up with that for $60,000 or $70,000, which is a lot of money for a lot of people. But her salary was picked up, and she had a cabinet level position to where, truthfully, her only boss should have been the city manager.
Mhm.
And I say should have been because I don't know if there were other people who had, sometimes you have different people in different positions, but you're new, they have the inside, and you don't want to not listen to that person because they gotta, how it is political. So yeah, I was very frustrated to hear that she was leaving.
Oh, I can imagine. I think a lot of us were.
Yeah.
With that being said, what do you think that can be done to, maybe help the situation or move towards fixing the situation, I guess you could say?
We need to do like, I'm gonna get political, like the Republicans did when they lost to Obama back 8 years ago, whatever. They said they're gonna do an autopsy to find out what went wrong, but then they're reverting to the same stuff all over again. They're still
Yeah.
doing the same, and in some cases they're even worse. Sorry to get political on your
I
show,
know. I'm
but
just here.
they need to do an autopsy. They need to find out, like, truthfully what went wrong, and then truthfully try to fix it. And I'm not sure if she had the support she needed.
Mhm.
I can't say that's why she left or not, but if that is the case, then we need to make sure she does, because we don't need to give people positions and do stuff just so the public, because you see what happens right now, right? We're enraged. We're in the media. We're complaining about our gone and everything else. So don't just give a title and just say, here, we're going to put this person here and the community is going to be happy because we got this person here. No, we want support. We want some results. And we want the person to be heard. And at the same time, we want the person to do the job too, right? We don't want to just put somebody black or whatever in a position and just put them there because of that, because no, we want somebody that's going to move the ball down the field, move the ball down the court. Somebody's going to make systemic change, but we don't want any roadblocks or barriers to stop the person from making those changes that need to be changed and make our community a better place. So one thing I want to say, and I haven't said it to anybody else, and I've been interviewed by a few people, and so you'll be the first to hear me say this on your show. Whoever they get for this position, there is no question that the person needs to be a Black woman. A Black person, could be a man, but I would prefer it to be a Black woman should be in this position. The cabinet that we have at Worcester City Hall right now is predominantly white. We have two Latinas on the cabinet. We have Maddie Castillo, who's the Health and Human Services Commission. She's a cabinet member, Latina. And we have a Latino, Eric Batista, who is a Latino, right? We don't have any Black representation. So no one else should be there in that seat but a Black person, qualified Black person. Again, they don't need to stick someone there because they're Black. There's a lot of qualified people. Get a qualified Black person and put them in that seat. And honestly, support them, listen to them, and try out what they want to do. We know that there's, the mayor, the city manager, city councilor, they're the boss, right? We know that, right? But put this person in this position, and obviously something's not working. So let that person try out what they want to try out and see if that works, because obviously what we've been doing hasn't been working.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So you're the first. Your show's the first to hear me call out and say,
I appreciate that too.
You want somebody Black in that position because it's only fair, right?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Black Americans have a very long history in the city of Worcester, good and bad, good and bad. But we have a long history. We have, I believe, we have, besides whites, we have the longest ethnicity roots in the city, and we need our piece of the pie,
Yeah, I feel you. I definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah.
So with that being said, for anyone who wants to get involved with the NAACP, whether it's being a member, volunteering, making a donation, what can they do to do that?
So we always have our meetings, the fourth Monday of the month, unless there's a holiday. And for the first time since I can remember, in May, we won't have to change our meeting because the fourth Monday of the month after next won't be a holiday, but it's every fourth Monday. So the 28th of this month, we have our general membership meeting. We've been doing it through Zoom over the last 2 years since the pandemic happened. But I'm really hoping, I'm really going to advocate that we can sometime in the near future have in-person meetings, which we used to have at the Central Branch YMCA at 766 Main Street, the fourth Monday of the month from 6:30 to 8. It's a good time. We need a lot of people to come in. We need people. We want to hear you. We want to hear what you got to say. We want to hear what you got to say, and we want you to help us with this important challenge. I'm not going to say it's a problem. In some cases, it is a problem, but it's also a challenge. We want you to help. We want you to help us solve this challenge. Become a member, volunteer. The first step is to show up. I want to invite you to a meeting. Again, you can send an email to NAACPWorcester2058@gmail.com. If you're interested, you can just ask to send a link to come to a meeting, sit in. And then if you're interested in joining, we do have a website. We're in the process of trying to revamp it. It's a little outdated, but it still works. If you're interested in going to our website and joining, it's NAACPWorcester.org. Again, it's NAACPWorcester.org if you're interested in joining. If you don't have a computer and you're interested in doing it the old school way, you can send an email to the email that I gave earlier, NAACPWorcester2058, and request that we mail you a form that you can fill out and mail in a check to make a payment to join the membership. We ask that you join those two ways and not just go NAACP.org, because if you go NAACP.org, it may put you on the national website, which you can still become a member, but there can be a delay in you getting your membership card. If you join through us, you'll be processed quicker and you'll be able to get our emails. Any statement that I send out to the public, I always send it to our membership first. So when you see something in the news, if you're a member of the NAACP, you receive that before it hit the newspapers. That's one of the advantages to becoming a member. I want to be transparent and open and communicate as much as I can to our membership, because our membership is the lifeblood of the organization.
Yes, it is. So for me, is there anything else that we might have missed that you want to put out there, or anything you want to say to anybody?
No, I just want to say thank you very much. And everyone is watching your show and everybody's supporting the movement, everyone who's supporting the values that that we fight for. We want to give you a shout out. We want to give you a shout out for that. I also want everybody to say a prayer for Brittany Greer. Brittany Greer is the WNBA basketball player that they found traces of hashish in her possession when she was in Russia. So they're holding her right now. So I would just ask that everyone say a prayer for her, say a prayer for her and her family. And that's about it.
I just want to thank you for everything. Thank you for taking time to speak with me. I know you're real busy. Been talking for a while, so I know that's everything that you're out there doing. Thank you for that. I appreciate you.
Thank you, and I hope I get to see you in a couple of weeks.
Nah, well, I'll be there. You already know.
Right,
For anything else, I'm gonna also tag everything that you said, all the websites, email addresses. So if anybody needs to get in touch with them, it'll be there as well.
Thank you very much. You take care, brother.
You too. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, peace.